the next phase of getting ready to sublimate is setting up the printer. I already had the heat press out. I'm getting the printer set up. Koala sent me ASUB Sublimation Ink, and these are syringe top bottles. So I have cleaned out my, and you know what the funniest part is? I think these just press on and squeeze in, but I think these syringes actually hook onto the bottles. You don't want to shake these inks. But because I already have the same exact printer, I have an empty set of bottles that I saved. So I washed out the bottles, and I'm going to fill these bottles, not the new ones that are in this one, but the ones from the other one. I topped off my other machine and made them empty, so I didn't waste any ink. I didn't dump it down the drain, but I washed out the bottles, so I will be able to pour these into those clean bottles and use them to fill from, which will be a lot easier. ASUB does have a sub ink out now that has the nozzle that fits onto the Eco Tank. That's not what I got. I got this version. So, which is fine because they didn't have the other version in stock yet, and I didn't want to wait. So that was my choice. But I'm going to go ahead and get this unboxed off camera, get all the tape off of it. I'm going to do it off camera because I know from the first one how well packaged this machine is. And then I will show how we get the ink in. And we will run a test print after it's all charged up and stuff. It's a bit of a lengthy process installing one of these, but because this is my second one, all of my software should already be the same. I should just be able to install and hopefully rename one so that when I'm picking, I'll be able to pick and choose, you know, 2803 Sublimation Network or however it gets named. I'm hoping. I'm not very good at the tech part of that, so hopefully that does not become an extreme exercise in frustration. But I will be back when this is unboxed and I'm ready to install the ink. Okay, so I'm ready to load the ink in the printer. The printer is unplugged, not turned on yet, so that is important. Power cord is still packaged. This is the ink that came with the machine. I don't need that. I will save this for my other machine for down the road use. So, my bottles are washed and dried. I do have gloves on, just in case. And I'm just going to, I don't know what the bottle size difference is, but it's obvious this isn't all going to fit in here at once. So, and nope, they're not sealed. So, I'm going to just fill the bottle up partway, almost to the top. I do know that this won't take this entire bottle, so there is a little bit left in the rim. That's not going to hurt anything. We are not going to worry about that. Snug these caps back on. I'm going to open up the printer, and hopefully you can see that this flips up, and each of these has a unique top, so it won't only go in one space. And as it starts to fill, you can see in the window down here the fill line. So I'm just going to repeat that process for each color. And if it starts to get too full, I will lift it before it overfills. And I'm going to try not to mix up any of the caps or anything. So that is full. I'm going to put the cap back on. And I'm going to mark these and keep them with the excess ink. So I have plenty to refill that, probably a full second time. And flip that back closed. Do pay careful attention, make sure you're filling the right slots. They are marked front and back everywhere, but cleaning them out would be a nightmare. The setup on the last one of these was a little bit miserable. Internet connection issues and whatnot, but I'm going to get this plugged in. I am going to plug it into the back of the computer, and then I will be back. Okay, so I think I'm plugged into the computer. I think I'm plugged into power, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. And we're going to see what happens. I may be back and forth powering a computer down, or a printer down. I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to walk through the startup menu. So I'm just going to follow the on-screen. Fill it in with ink and hold down the question mark for more than 5 seconds. And that should start initializing the printer. This is all going to take a bit. This is just telling me how to do it, which we already did. Ink may remain in the bottle, can be used later. Oh, start. So this is going to take about 11 minutes, so I'm going to walk away and let it do its thing. Okay, so while the printer is finishing up, and these lift up on these, I don't know if you know this, depending on where you have it sitting on your desk, this makes it easier to see. Something I didn't realize for a very long time with my first one. I always have to like get down and stare at it. So being able to flip it up where I put them on my desk, because this one's going to go on the top shelf, the old one's going to stay on the bottom shelf. It'll make it a lot easier for me to look down under the desk and see them. So I'm going to let that finish. We're going to talk about the paper. Koala sent me ASUB's Sublimation paper, and I will link to this on Amazon as well as the ink. So this will transfer to soft and hard. It will work with Epson. It does have some temperature and time settings. I don't know if it does have ceramic mugs, but I feel like that's a very long time, but we are going to test it on some mugs, so we'll see. But it tells you to use mirror printing, print on the blank side, which is nice because some sub paper is not marked on the back, which makes it harder to figure out which side you're printing on. Keep unused paper in the original package. Avoid storing at high temperatures, blah, blah, blah. Now it says my initialization is complete. So I'm going to say, okay, done. Align the print head. So we'll go with that. And I'm probably going to need a standard piece of paper to do that. I guess this cardstock though, but that'll be fine. Just going to drop a sheet of paper in and confirm print. We'll see if it'll take it because it's cardstock, not plain paper, but it should be fine. And it says check your ink level regularly because, again, it doesn't want it drawing it too down. You can see how far it drew ink into the machine. So are there any missing segments? Yes, there's definitely missing segments in the black. Clean print head, yes. We're going to go ahead and let that do that. And this will take a couple minutes as well. And then I think if I just shut one printer off, it'll automatically pick up on the other printer, but I'm not sure because I had to put a serial number in on the first one. So I am going to, I mean, it's currently telling me my printer is busy. So I'm thinking it's thinking this one's busy. So I'm going to have an image pulled up ready to attempt to print. And so I do have one pulled up to try. And I do have all of my images that I've already prepped are mirrored. That is important. Always, always, always mirror for sublimation. Even if it's something that doesn't have text, it's a good habit to get into. Mirroring, just so you're used to it. Because anything sublimation requires mirroring. So it's printing again. So let's see what it's got. And that time it printed perfectly. So we're good there. We can discard that. Does it have any missing segments? No. Align print position to fix. We'll adjust later because it should be fine. Okay, so we should be good to go. I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna load a sheet. And I don't know. This is one thing it doesn't tell me is what print settings to use. So this could be a challenge for me. And it does tell me now that it's ready, so I should be good to go. It's still only showing one printer. Actually, it's showing this one as copy 1, I believe. I don't even know if that's ASUB. I'll have to look when it comes out. I thought I grabbed one sheet, but I have 2 in there. And I didn't even have to override it, which is great. It means it likes this paper. So I just went with plain white paper and a high setting. Right or wrong, it is what it is. We're going to print a couple prints. Now remember, sublimation looks dull to begin with, and once you get it on your product, it should brighten up. And I am printing these images at 9.3 by 8.2. You don't want to touch your ink or anything like that. So there's my first sublimation print. So far, so good. I did not change my settings, so this one's going to be a waste. I can tell because it's printing way too fast, and I didn't open that in the same window of my print program. So I'm going to go ahead and reprint this one. Just set that one aside. That was my fault. I'm used to it storing the settings on my default printer. And because this one's not going to be set up as the default, I'm going to have to adjust it. If it comes out. So that's the difference between a high quality print and a standard print. So there we go. That is it. My printer is set up. I am ready to sublimate. So I'll be getting some actual tumblers done here shortly, and we'll see how it goes.